We are going to be ranking every AKUMA Shindo Life from worst to best. So if you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more Shindo Life content in the future, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, comment below what your favorite part of the video was or what videos you want to see in the future, and make sure to ring that bell. Now, coming to 14th place is going to be Dokai. Now, there's a long explanation as to why the Dokais are on here, but basically they're just AKUMAs in Shindo Life lore. Now, the reason why Dokai is like at the bottom of this tier list is it's mainly because Dokai itself is a terrible bloodline. I mean, like the moves they do things. I mean, it is truly a bloodline of all times, but the only reason people ever use Dokai is for this first move, which basically is a sort of like, it doesn't allow you to use abilities inside of it. It used to last a lot longer, but now it doesn't, so it's not nearly as good as it used to be, but it still sees some use in combos, which is like, there's a merit to that. There's definitely a merit to that, but I don't think it makes it good enough to like be anything above last on this tier list. Now, coming to 13th place is going to be your good old boy Xeno Dokai. Now, most of you guys playing remember when this bloodline was insanely good for PvE, and it made it like a must-get bloodline. Now, I'm of course using the skin because the skin is a Rocoin bloodline. You guys all can get the skin. I actually do think it looks better as well. But when it comes to Xeno Dokai, let's be real here, the moves are booty cheeks. Nobody ever used Xeno Dokai for the moves. It was always a really, really terrible bloodline. But the main reason why people used it was because the C-Spec actually had a glitch. Now, this glitch has been fixed for a majority of bosses. I think event bosses still aren't fixed from it, but the C-Spec has been fixed for a majority of bosses, which is the only reason why it's so far down in this tier list. There's no really any reason to ever use this bloodline anymore, and I would avoid it if I'm going to be honest. Now, coming to 12th place is actually going to be Satori AKUMA. Now, Satori AKUMA has really fallen from its heyday. It used to be the best AKUMA. Still the stun, which was its best ability, is still its best ability. The other two are honestly booty cheeks. I'm going to be honest, I really don't like the Satori abilities, but the third ability is still really good. The C-Spec just makes you dash really fast. And then I'm also pretty sure the weapon spec of Satori is another reason why it's not last on this list. Yeah, so the weapon spec does a lot of damage, it block breaks, and it's extremely long range on a very low cooldown. That's the reason why Satori isn't last on this list, but I do think that the weapon spec doesn't really carry the entirety of its actual bloodline set, because if you're only using this bloodline for the mode, which, you know, is very common in Shindo Life, but I'm not orienting this tier list towards players that already know what they're doing. That's not the point. And if you are watching this tier list and you don't know what you're doing, you should avoid picking bloodlines that you're only going to be using one move from, especially the mode weapon spec, until you're better at the game. Because like this weapon spec is really good. I'm going to be honest, it's an insanely good weapon spec. It always has been. And that's the main reason why Satori is used still. But if you're new to the game, it won't help you at all. And I just wanted to point out that the weapon spec is insanely good just for players that, you know, maybe forgot about it. Now, coming to 11th place is actually going to be Ryan AKUMA. Now, this actually used to be one of my favorite bloodlines in the entire game. It was so much fun to use. Now, the reason why it's so low now is, first of all, the first two moves of it are honestly booty cheeks. They're really terrible. Like that move just did a lot of damage because there's 3 logs there, but the first two moves are booty cheeks, so mainly you only ever use it for the mode. The C-Spec basically gave you iframes. It drained their mode and drained their chi. The weapon spec is just a dash. It does a little attack at the end, by the way. It's nothing special, but the C-Spec used to be quite good, but the main reason people used Ryan was actually for this third move. It used to give you an insane amount of iframes for using it, and it block broke, and it was very long range. So it was just a really good move in the game for a long period of time. And I'm going to be dead serious when I say this. The only reason it was nerfed is because I used it a lot. I mean, that's kind of like the truth to it. I use this move like in every single one of my videos because I just really liked this move. This move, in my opinion, was one of the best moves in the game for a long period of time. And then it just got butchered, even though nobody else was using it. So it is what it is, man. I can be salty all I want, but Ryan is only going to be in 11th place on this tier list. Now, coming to 10th place is actually going to be AKUMA. Now, I'm going to be real here. A lot of you guys may be confused why AKUMA is this high on the tier list above, like, named AKUMAs. I'm going to be honest here. Normal AKUMA is, like, goated. I mean, everyone could rejoice when I say normal AKUMA is goated, but it really is. Normal AKUMA is actually goated, dude. So not only does the M1s not knock people back, so it just gives you extra M1 damage, and the C-Spec is an instantaneous damage ability, but I mean, like, first of all, the first move is a stun ability. It's basically Bankai stun. It's worse than Bankai stun, but it's basically Bankai stun. Second move is one of the best auto dodges in the game. The reason for that is because it doesn't teleport you back. And the fact it doesn't teleport you back makes it actually easier to escape from people because they will camp wherever you're going to teleport back to. And then the third move is just a damage move. I'm going to be honest, AKUMA looks really underwhelming, but if you guys actually use this in PvP, like if you guys use AKUMA, you will understand what I'm saying. Also, the C-spec stacks based on the amount of people that are in the area, which is quite funny because it is like such a low tier bloodline. But I'm gonna be honest, Akuma is pretty goated. I think Akuma's great. Now coming in 8th place is actually gonna be Sriracha. Now Sriracha used to be an extremely memed bloodline for good reason. It was terrible, but now Sriracha is actually pretty good for combos because you could just implement the moves really easily. Like this Shuriken dash, it'll teleport them away, then you follow it up with the first move. The counter is also pretty okay because what it does is when they attack you, it summons shurikens that stun and damage them. But like, I think the weapon spec is okay as well. But the main moves of Sriracha you will be using is the second, like you guys can see this, and then you're gonna immediately follow up with the first move. That's kind of like the basic combo you're gonna be with Sriracha. But all of the moves are pretty decent and honestly good enough for the bloodline overall to be pretty decent. Now coming to 7th place is actually going to be Sengoku. Now Sengoku, the reason why it's not in like last place is because it actually got a rework. So now it's actually pretty decent for farming because you guys can see these M1s right here. Now I would always recommend only ever using the first mode for PvP because the issue with the second mode is honestly the spec it gives you isn't that good compared to the normal one, and you want to kind of be on the floor when you're doing combos. The second mode is better for grinding though. So Sengoku got a lot of reworks. Like the first move now actually gives iframes, so it's actually a pretty decent move now. Second move used to be one of the best combo moves in the game. It drags someone to the middle and actually stuns them. Used to be insanely annoying, not anymore though. And then the third move is a counter. It's actually quite a good counter. It stuns them and launches meteors at them. It's actually not a bad counter at all. But the main reason why Sengoku's here is just because the kit is pretty decent overall. It's not anything like broken or anything like that, but I definitely think the kit is just good enough to warrant being in the middle place in this tier list because I think it's a pretty average bloodline. It's a really good bloodline to use if you like don't have anything else because all of the moves have a purpose, so you could just use this entire bloodline. Now coming to 6th place is going to be Shiver Akuma. Now I'm going to show you guys that this is for one reason and one reason only. I'm not going to go too far deep into this. The moves are pretty booty cheeks. A lot of them just stun the opponent. They're pretty, you can make goofy combos with them, but like that's for theory crafters and stuff like that. Like you're not going to be using Shiver for the abilities. It's going to be for this. And I know I said earlier that mode specs don't define a bloodline, but look at this. It's a no cooldown 120-second ability. No cooldown. I'm spamming it. Look, that's the main reason why Shiver is so high on this tier list. Once this bug is fixed, it will honestly be below Satori. But until this bug is fixed, yep, this is Shiver, bro. Now coming to 5th place is actually going to be Bankai Inferno. Now, I'm going to be real here. Bankai Inferno is honestly a really, really great bloodline. Not because of anything it does, really. Like, the abilities are okay. I mean, like, the abilities are okay. I accidentally just used the best move. You guys will see about that in a little bit. But the abilities are alright. They do what they need to do. I mean, it's just okay. It's a pretty mid bloodline other than one of the moves specifically. Also, that is just Ember Chi Blade, if you guys are wondering. Ember Chi Blade is like one of the really old weapons. But the first move of Bankai Inferno is the main reason why it's so high on this tier list. So it teleports you forward. So you guys can see I'm just running around, right? Oh, crap. I'm about to get attacked by a combo. Nope, not today. It also stuns and attacks whoever is near you when you do that. Now, it does have a cooldown of 20 seconds, which is a really, really long cooldown. But this type of ability is absolutely insane because it honestly just lets you able to engage and disengage whenever you want and not whenever the enemy wants. Now coming to 4th place is going to be Shindai Akuma. The main reason why this one's so high in the tier list is just because of its PvE potential. Pretty much you just spam all of its moves at PvE and it does well. For PvP content, the counter actually is quite good because I do actually use the counter from PvP from time to time because the counter, it summons these clones, right? And then also stuns whoever you attacks. So while the clones themselves may not do that much damage anymore, they are extremely annoying to anyone that is trying to combo you. So it's pretty much just a free chi gain unless they like dash across the map, which does happen. The other moves are okay as well. They do a bit of damage. The third move stuns. I mean, like, it's okay. The C-spec is also really, really good because it actually speeds you up so you can get out of the situation and summons clones that can attack the people you're fighting. The main reason though, the main reason why Shindai Akuma is still, the mode is still insanely good is this weapon spec. It drains mode from whoever you're fighting and gives you iframes. It's an insane move for being a weapon spec, but that's kind of like the main thing Shindai Akuma has going for it, PvE and the weapon spec. Now, one of my personal favorite bloodlines in 3rd place is going to be Kamaki Akuma. I do think the bloodline looks insane. This is, of course, going to be the Kamaki Akuma Inferno. I don't have the event mode. I'm sorry if that makes you mad, but Kamaki Akuma is just a really fun bloodline to use. So first of all, a lot of the abilities are combo oriented, so they'll stun them and things like that. But I'm just going to be honest here for a second. Like, Kamaki Akuma is just great. First of all, it does actually have the mode thing where you actually go into the mode, which is pretty nice. It's pretty fun overall. And then the F spec, the counter is one of the best parts of Kamaki because it does stack based on how many attacks your opponent does to you. And the reason why Kamaki Kamaki AKUMA was good for such a long period of time and like #1 on like everyone's tier list is because of this third move right here. It's a dash attack that stuns them afterwards. It was nerfed a bit, but it's still a really good dash attack to influence your like input into your combos. The other moves of Kamaki AKUMA are pretty decent as well. They're also really fun to use. I'm gonna be honest, it's just a fun bloodline. It's really fun. And you won't regret getting Kamaki AKUMA. Like, the first two moves of it are kind of like, they're kind of weird, but you will get used to implementing them into your combos. But using this dash attack, using the C-spec, being able to go into your mode whenever you need to, and having a really good counter on the actual throwable spec is just really good. It's just a pretty good bloodline overall, and the third mode just makes it even better. Now, coming in second place is going to be Bankai and or Riser AKUMA, depending on your favorite. Now, these bloodlines are very similar, as I'll show you here in a second. I do think Riser AKUMA's auto dodge is better because you could kind of dash into someone and stun them, and you guys can see it didn't teleport me back when you do that. But other than Riser AKUMA's auto dodge just being better, in my personal opinion, I do actually like using the auto dodge a lot. I think it's one of the better ones. The second move and the mode spec, which are the exact same pretty much for them with very minor differences, are the reason why it's second place. So Bankai's stun is a long range stun that does not teleport you to them. Keep that in mind. Does not teleport you to them. And then the mode C-spec of both of them is it pretty much just drains mode from them, and I think it chi locks them as well. That's the main reason why it's so good. I mean, it's very goofy to think about, but it's extremely strong in PvP if you manage to land it, because it means that your mode is going to be up for longer than their mode. And of course, Riser stun teleports you to them in case your combo wants you to teleport to them. That's the main difference between them. They're both extremely simple, but extremely good, and extremely beginner friendly as well. Now, coming to first place, and I'm going to be called an Indra Glazer for this, but it is of course going to be Indra AKUMA. I am an Indra Glazer. I think it is an insanely good bloodline, especially for new players. It should be your go-to AKUMA. Unless you're like super sweaty in PvP in this game, and all you do is PvP constantly, and you like have like 4 bloodline slots, and you have 4 elemental slots, or even bloodline bag, then Indra AKUMA is kind of your go-to AKUMA. The reason for that is all of the moves work really well in conjunction with one another. Like, they have good damage, good AoE, good stun attacks, and the third move is actually a pretty good move for boss grinding as well. Combined with the fact that you get these insane M1s, I mean, the C-spec is kind of goofy. It does a bit of damage. It has like this lasting effect on it, so it's actually better for boss grinding. But the actual mode spec, the weapon spec, it gives you insane damage resistance and allows your M1s to be ranged. You just have to keep an eye on your mode because you will lose mode quite quickly. But overall, just Indra AKUMA is just a really good bloodline. I am an Indra Glazer. I think should be everyone's go-to AKUMA, just because it's a really good overall AKUMA. I even use Indra a lot because it's just so easy to use and so easy to integrate. Anyways, guys, this actually be it for this AKUMA tier list. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hope to see you next one, guys. Peace out.